I could see how directional instructions could have been translated by the headbands into some form of current flowing through the skins, and into the series of raised deck panels where there were indentations for the creature's hands. The indentations on these panels, as the Roswell field reports described them, looked like the handprints pressed into the concrete at the old Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. Note KGB Major wrote small hand indentations were located on the display panels. Were the directional commands a series of electronic instructions transmitted directly from the creature's brains along their bodies, and through the panels into the ship itself, as if the ship were only an extension of the creature's body? For that to have been the case, something was still missing. The engine. What if the craft itself were the engine, imparted with a steady current from another source that it stored, as if it were a giant capacitor? I suspected the Roswell craft was simply a capacitor that stored current, that was controlled or vectored by the pilot, and was able to be recharged in some way, or could recharge itself with some form of built-in generator. That's the way I believed the spacecraft was navigated, by direct interaction between the electronic waves generated within the minds of the pilots and the craft's directional controls. The electronic brain signals were interpreted and transmitted by the headband devices, which served as interfaces and perhaps used the small hand indentations described by the KGB Major on the ship's panel to interface with the ship. If the Soviets had gotten their hands on some of the apparatus from any one of the alien spacecraft that had gone down since 1947, and I didn't know how many there were, they'd have figured out by now that the aliens had used some form of brainwave control for navigation. How they directed their thoughts, or translated them into an electronic circuit, we didn't know.